Hi, welcome to Barmy Army fan cams after a 1-0 win over Arsenal. I think the word is buzzing. I'm joined by Ian, Fiona, Shane, Jake, Matt. Shane, I'm coming to you first. Thoughts on that?
Yes. Wow. Yeah, it's good. We've broke that duck now, haven't we? We'd have one. We've got the goals and took points off a top 3 team. We've now beaten one in the league. It's it does that. Yeah, he's got the word right. Buzzing.
Channeling my Millie Turner at that point.
Yeah.
A really frustrating game in so many ways. We probably should have been, I won't say out of sight by half time, but we should easily have been at least one goal up. Fiona, what were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, the first half we were all over them. Like at half time we should have been 3-0 up. It should have been done and dusted. We were creating chances, we just weren't finishing them. And to be honest, over that full 90 minutes, you wouldn't think that Arsenal were the top 3 team that should have been beating us. We were all over them, chasing down everything, but we also were better going forward. It was just that finishing, that's the scoring, the goal. That was the one thing that was missing. And then a great run from Jess, and then a goal from Tooney. Just great.
It was sweet. Ian, you were doing our Twitter feed, so you were clearly paying far more attention to it than I probably was at times. But safe to say, on the balance of play, certainly the tweets you were putting out, we were the better team. It would have been frustrating for us to have not got something out of that. Even a draw might have felt a bit demoralising, would you have said?
Yeah, we didn't deserve to not take anything but 3 points from that game. I'm now just thinking of shots on target that Mary had to save. There was one. Beth Mead had that poor effort from just inside the area that it was fairly comfortable for Mary. The only real save Mary had to make was from Amy Turner.
Yeah.
From her, her mishit clearance. So Mary didn't really have much to do, and Arsenal didn't put any pressure on us until we scored. Until injury, until that last 5-10 minutes, there was no real Arsenal pressure. There was about 2 or 3 minutes midway through the first half before we started playing and getting into it. But then we had 3 chances in the first half that we could have scored from. Kristen's had a good effort over the bar on the half volley, was one of them. So we had 3 chances in the first half. We had more at the beginning of the second half. 1-0 is, I would say, flattering to Arsenal.
Okay. Not the first time this season a 1-0 win for us has been flattering to a North London team. Jake, you put, in my opinion, you put some tweets out over the weekend ahead of this game, and you said that Arsenal traditionally always score. Were you disappointed with Arsenal to an extent? I know obviously we look at it from a United point of view, but did you expect more from them?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we played them twice. We know what they can do. We've seen them this season. We've seen them absolutely batter teams, 8-9-0 and whatnot. But look, I'm just so happy today. You've seen me smiling all the way through this, because it's such an important, a massive statement victory. And obviously, we kept the strikers quiet, as it's already been said. Amy Turner's near own goal was the closest Arsenal came to scoring, which says a lot. You look at their players: Mead, Ford. What did they do today? We kept them quiet. Our defence is strong. It's a fantastic team performance. I'm so proud of the girls. They all wear the socks off.
Yeah, and you could see at the end they were knackered. They were absolutely, all of them were dead on their feet, it looked like. And I think it's one of those games that had the crowd been at, we'd have just tried to give them that little bit in the last few minutes. We had 7 minutes of injury time, probably correctly so. I hate to say that the refs got it right, but there had been a few injuries during the second half, and it just went on for a long, long time. Matt, I was thinking of you again with about 10 minutes to go. I think Mark mentioned it to you, that you do our review and preview, and thinking about what you were going to actually have to write about, other than great performance, didn't get the goal. Great performance. Changes everything, that, doesn't it, now?
Oh, in the immortal words of Patrice Evra, I love this game. But in all seriousness, as I said on the watch along, I don't think it's possible to overestimate just how big a win this is. You know, we deservedly beat and outplayed probably the best team in the country this season. You know, they have absolutely laid to waste every team they've played in the league so far. And for the vast majority of the game, we were the better side. You know, we have now got a league win against one of the big three. That is absolutely massive. And the belief that this will give the entire squad is just incredible.
And psychologically, I think the performance, we know we've got that performance in us. We know we can do that. But psychologically, and I'm thinking back, I know I mentioned on the fan cams we did after the West Ham game, and I said that when they brought it back to 3-2, I was having flashbacks to last year at their place and being quite...
Yeah, I think a lot as well.
But there was something about, and Shane, I'm looking at you at this point. Last year's result was almost painful because, yes, we were hanging on the whole of the second half, I think, last year. And there was almost a sense of inevitability. But even when they scored, it just felt like a kick in the teeth. So psychologically, we needed something from this game. But we've also got a couple of biggies coming up now. Is there a danger, Shane, that we've looked at Arsenal, beaten them, Chelsea, got a draw against them? There's another top three team who haven't perhaps had the best start to the season. Any chance we just undersell that? And it might be a little bit complacent. The squad's not looking so great again at the moment. But, sorry.
Look, it goes back to the Liverpool game in some way. If you can't get yourself up for that game next weekend, and indeed the midweek cup game after that, there's going to be something wrong. The belief I'll set from this game now is go and beat them. You know, yes, they had I suppose, an indifferent start to the season, but in a derby game, you can never say that, you know, form goes out the window always. It don't matter who the teams are. One could be bottom, one could be top. You could be both in the middle. It doesn't matter. It's a derby game. The mentality has to be you're going there to win it. And we've beaten City before. So there's no necessary duck to get off our back with that one, other than the fact we've not done it in the league. But we have beat them before. We've now beat Arsenal. We've took points off Chelsea. We can do it. So go and do it. That's the only way I can look at it.
Ian, few players out today. Who do we miss the most?
Ooh. Do you know what? I'm going to say we didn't. I'm going to say this. We didn't seem to miss Abby at the back today. The back four looked really, really solid. As I said, we kept Arsenal quite. Did you hear the name Miedema much in that game today? No. She was completely. You wouldn't have known she was on the pitch. That's how quiet she was. And I've actually just pulled up the stats that the FA have just put up. Arsenal had only 9 shots in the whole of that game, and only 2 of those were on target.
Well, Ian, I'm being if you've got the stats there. Possession.
47.8% to United, 52.2% to Arsenal.
Okay. I think we did with what we had by the look of it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, we had 23 shots in that game and 5 on target. So, you know, vast difference. But when it comes to players missing, for us, do you know what? I don't think we missed any of them. I'm going to be brutally honest. I thought Kristen had her best game for United since she's joined us. Her, we were worried about her touch, before the international break. She's got that back. She looked sharp at times today. Tobin has been Tobin. I would love to have seen what Alessi would have done to that back four. I will be honest, it's a shame that she is out now, and she could be out for a while if she needs surgery on that hamstring injury. But otherwise, the team that Casey picked did the job that she wanted them to do, and they did a really good job of doing it.
Okay. So realistically, Jake, drawn with Chelsea, beaten Arsenal, what are we genuinely aiming at this season? Because we've always said, let's get us against the top three. Are we in there?
Definitely. You look at the other results today, Everton getting absolutely battered by Chelsea. So it's put them at a disadvantage. We've talked many times about City and how they've had a shaky start. So we're very much up there now. We are on a par with Arsenal, with Chelsea, having beaten one of the two. You look at that, confidence sort of grows that we will be in the top three come the end of the season. Looking ahead, trying to go above that. Oh, I don't want to say it. I don't want to get carried away, but league title. I'm not thinking, but I'm dreaming. I'm starting to dream slowly. I'm not confident of it, but if we can compete with these teams and do the job against all the other teams, which we have done,
wow,
this season's been brilliant so far. Absolutely brilliant. I'm so confident now that we can carry it on.
Jake, I'm just going to stop you. Ian's looking at something. Can you share it with us? Do you want to share the rest of the class, Ian?
There's a tweet. I've just seen a tweet from Ashes Burnham.
Okay.
In defeating Arsenal to go top of the Barclays WSL, Man United women become the first side since the 2nd December 2018 to keep a clean sheet against them, ending their run of 30 consecutive scoring games.
And this was the point you made,
Wow.
Jake, that Arsenal were a team who like to win, and we didn't have our regular England international in the back four today. We did have Onabadia, who I think showed us in the first half, certainly, what we had been missing. Matt, realistically, Champions League now, at the very least?
Oh, absolutely. I think, Jake's talking up a title challenge, and I can understand why he's getting carried away with that, because, like we all said, we've played two of the big three now and got 4 points out of them. So, of course, we're going to start dreaming. And the way the team is playing is allowing us to dream. But I think top three has to be the aim. And I think we are very much up there. With this result today, we've gone above Arsenal. In terms of Chelsea, they've got a game in hand. So if they win that, they go above us on goal difference. But that's the only goal difference. They've got Arsenal themselves next weekend. So who knows how that's going to go. And, Shane pointed out earlier, if we beat City, we go 8 points clear of them. So I think from this position, we have got to be looking at top three.
Okay. Fiona, before I move everybody on to your favourite question and the one that clearly was dividing opinion on the watch, would you agree in terms of Champions League as a minimum?
If you look at the stats from the first half, if we can maintain that for a full 90 minutes against the top three, and like we've always said, if we can replicate that against a lower team, which we struggle to do, Champions League is ours for the taking. We've shown our performance hasn't been consistent, but our results have been consistent. We know we can do it. The other teams are dropping points. This is ours for the taking. It's just whether or not we can replicate that against a lower team. That is the one thing, because we know last year we didn't necessarily get the result, but we performed against those big three.
Yeah.
And this time we've changed that performance into a result. We just now need to not be complacent.
And we need to be more clinical, which I think was one of our things from last year. I know it sounds like we're being picky now, we still need to do it. Favourite question we finish on? It's divided opinion already on the watch along, so make your case, name your player, who was the player of the match for you? Ian, go first.
Oh, I'm struggling again on this one. I know we just put out a tweet about we put 4 players down, 4 names, and we could only put 4 down. But I want to say, Amy T, you had another, fantastic at the back again. Jackie again does things you don't see. What she does off the ball as well as on the ball, you don't see it. Jess, second half, you wouldn't have known she hasn't played this season.
Come on, Ian, give me
Leah had a fantastic. I'm going to give it to Leah. She had a really good. She's not a left back by trade. Yes, she wasn't there a couple of times, and someone had to cover for her. But again, she just seemed to. It's hard to tell. I just thought Leah had a really solid game again on that left-hand side, and she and Tobin seemed to get along really well.
Okay, Matt, player of the match.
It is a tough one. I think you could quite easily make a genuine case for literally about half the team. But for me, looking at the 97 minutes as a whole, I would personally go for Tobin, because right from the start, her and Kristen particularly were the ones that were really trying to make things happen right from the kickoff.
Shane's getting fed here. Good afternoon, good evening, but come on! I'm not going to swear this time. We're buzzing. Absolutely. Jane, who does your mum think should be player of the match? She going to offer us an answer?
Siggy, she says.
Who do you think should be player of the match, Shane?
Leah, I'm with Ian. I think over the 90, left back unfamiliar position. She did an absolute solid job today. Considering she got that knock as well in the second half, which a lot of us thought she might be subbed off for, and we might have to rearrange, but she carried on. All credit to her. I think she was absolutely solid. So yeah, Leah would be my pick.
Okay, so we've got a couple of shouts for Leah, one for Tobin. Matt, I have a feeling Fiona might agree with you. Would you be going with Tobin, Fiona?
I think she had a great performance, but I don't think I'd give it, just because there's a few moments where she was a bit selfish and there were other options. I think I'd have to agree with Leah. Going into the match with Leah at left back, you'd think that's our weakness, but you couldn't see from her performance that she wasn't a defender. She was great, but she also, like Honor was doing, going forward when in the first half, when it was appropriate, that kind of thing. So it showed just an intelligent performance from her as well, and things just seemed to click. And I think her and Tobin are going to have a very good partnership when they play together. They might not necessarily play together a lot, but things are clearly clicking on the training field, and that's now being seen on the pitch. So I'd have to give it to Leah. Okay,
Jake, last but not least, who's your player of the match?
Well, for once, I'm not going to go for Jackie. So that's something different. Look, I wish I could give it to all of them. I know that's a very cliche thing to say, but there were so many standout performers. I mean, you look at Leah. We've talked about Leah's amazing commitments in the unfamiliar position of left back. Honor returned, did a brilliant job at the back, going forwards as well. Haiti coming off the bench, doing a great job. But I'm going to go for another sub, Jets. Okay, she didn't play the full game, only on for a half, but what a return for her. Obviously played a massive part setting up the goal. Her strength, her physicality really showed through today, and also doing bits in defence. I know it's not what you want off a striker, but you'll take it. She was sliding in, she was getting her body in the way, she was being just being in the way, really, whenever Arsenal were trying to go forward late on. So a massive return for Jets. So yeah, she's my player of the match.
Okay, definitely divides opinion, and there's a few names which is always great to see. It's a great day. It's been a great weekend. Next Saturday, the girls take on City in the league. Fingers crossed, just great performance again. Hopefully get some of the players back who are injured. Alessia Russo is going to be out for a little while, but yeah, I think we'd all take the same sort of result next week. Just maybe a little bit calmer and a little bit more straightforward. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you all again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.